Here's my top 5 reasons that most athletes fail. It's time to talk about the distractions you're not noticing. Number 1, we're going to talk about poor time management. Time management is something that everybody knows is important, but not everybody focuses on properly, okay? So there's some non-negotiables. We all know school, high school is a non-negotiable. You gotta go, you gotta make it happen, you gotta do it. So how do we balance social life and training? That's the question, and I think that's what most athletes, most people struggle with. So the one thing you have to keep in mind when you're thinking about time management and the word balance is, what are your goals, right? Are you trying to be a top 1% athlete, or are you trying to be a top 7% athlete, since 7% of high school athletes typically are the ones that get to play in college, right? So there's 93% of high school athletes that don't play in college. So what are your goals, right? And that's where you can figure out your balance. Someone that wants to be a top 50%, top 20% athlete, really enjoys sports, likes to be good in high school, but doesn't really have dreams or aspirations to play in college, their balance of training and social life and extra work that they're putting in is going to be different from the athlete who wants to be a top 7, top 5, top 1% athlete. Your balance is going to look different. So stop trying to have balance be the same for all high school athletes. It's not the same. So you got to know what your goals are, and then from there you can find out what should be my training and my social life balance. Another area that's not talked about commonly when it comes to time management is the time management that you are putting into your eating and your sleeping as an athlete. All right. Are you eating and sleeping the same as your friends who go to school, go home, play video games till 2 a.m. and then get to wake up at noon on a Saturday? Or are you eating throughout the day, focusing on a big breakfast, focusing on a big hearty dinner, having good snacks in between your day? Because as an athlete, as a high level athlete with goals to play in college, you know that you have practice, that you have extra specialized trainings, right? Whether that's skill training or speed and agility training. You know that you might have 2 to 3 games over the weekend, and you can't sleep in until noon, right? So are you prioritizing your sleep and your food according to the type and the level of an athlete that you are? One of the biggest reasons athletes fail is they don't have a concrete why, or they don't have written down, locked in goals and dreams and things that they want to accomplish. Now, the reason I say that this is the number one reason that athletes fail is because motivation runs out, right? Motivation will always come and it will always go. It's guaranteed. So then it requires what? As athletes, it requires discipline. Discipline is what drives us and fuels us to continue to push when motivation has ran out. But how do we have discipline if we don't know what we're chasing, if we don't have a why, if we don't have clear goals that we're trying to achieve? So we should be having these conversations, and we should be thinking about, what are my goals? What are my dreams? Why am I here to work? I know I want to keep playing. Do I just want to keep playing anywhere that I can go, which is a fine goal? Or do I have a certain school or a certain level that I want to achieve? The reason that's important is because that's going to dictate how hard you push and how hard I push you as an athlete, right? When you're not doing things right, I'm going to bring you back to your why. Hey, what's going on? Why did we miss a week of training? Why are we not eating properly? How come I see you staying up too late, right? Accountability is huge, and you can't be kept accountable or held accountable to your actions if you don't have those goals. So figure out your why, write down your goals, and then let's go achieve those goals. One of my favorite topics is your peer group, your friends, and the relationships you choose to be in, especially as a high school athlete, but even for my younger athletes, okay? Man, the life that you live and how successful you become is hugely dependent on your friend group and your relationships. And if you have toxic friends, if you have toxic relationships, people that are bringing you down and that are not elevating you and pushing you towards your goals, it's going to set you up for failure and it's going to bring you down farther than you want to go. But the good news is the right friendships, the right relationships will help you achieve more success than you could ever do on your own. We were built as human beings to work in groups and to have people next to us, right? So if you can find the right friends, the right relationships, it's going to take you so far in life, not just sports, but also in life. So the good news when it comes to relationships is they're so important, but when you find the right ones, it'll take you farther than you ever thought possible. So my challenge, Coach DT's challenge to you is ask yourself, are your friends pulling out the best in you? Are your friends telling you, hey, get up, we got to go train. Hey, we can't skip this workout. Or do you have friends that are constantly saying, just skip just this once, just this one time skip. You got to have balance, right? Don't overdo it. What kind of friends do you have? Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who have the same or similar goals as you, or even better, find yourself a mentor or someone that's already achieved what you want to achieve and stick as close to them as you can. That leads me to one of my favorite, my most passionate topics, which is mindset. Having a weak mindset is one of the biggest reasons successful and talented athletes don't make it at the next level. The higher the level you get, the more even the physical playing field is, right? At some point, everyone's going to be fast. Everyone's going to be strong. Everyone's going to have good skills and know how to play their sport well. So what separates you from everybody else on the field or the court? It's your mindset. So, how do you handle adversity? How do you handle no longer being the star player or the best player on your team? How do you handle sports performance anxiety on a stage that's bigger than you've ever played on before in your life? What you're going to come to realize is the higher the level you play in, the more important your mental performance and your mindset is. Having a weak mindset, not being able to compete when everybody's good, not being able to take coaching or corrective criticism is going to be the reason you don't continue playing, the reason that you don't have success at the highest of the levels. You got to think about the best of the best athletes, the GOATs of their sports. They were so mentally tough, right? Let's talk Tom Brady, right? Was seen as a nobody coming into the NFL and became one of the greatest quarterbacks, definitely not because of his physical traits, but because of his mentality. So how do you become elite when everyone's elite? You have that Mamba mentality that says, I'm going to outwork everyone. I will not be denied, right? I will push when no one else wants to push. You have to have strong mindset when it comes to being a high-level athlete. And most of the time, even in my own personal experience, I have seen amazing athletes not make it because they were mentally weak. Don't let that be you. The last thing I'm going to say when it comes to mindset is please don't be afraid to reach out and seek help. When it comes to sports performance anxiety, when it comes to not knowing how to handle adversity or how to handle corrective criticism, realize you're not alone and that almost everyone struggles in this category. And even the people that are good in this category are good because they've worked on it. They've worked on themselves. So seek out mentors, seek out people that you look up to, right? Seek out help and work on your mental game. It's not something you're just born with. It's something that you work at and you become great at. And finally, the fifth reason that most athletes fail is complacency. And what I like to call complacency is ego. What do I mean by that? I mean thinking you're good enough. Thinking I'm the best player on my team. I don't need to put in extra work. I'm already the best one on my team. Having that ego, right, is going to kill you at some point. All right? You might have amazing God-given talent way beyond anyone you play with or against in your area. Okay? But whether that runs out in Pop Warner, whether that runs out in the high school level, the college level, the pro level, at some point, it will run out. Don't let your ego and allowing yourself to be complacent be the reason that you don't have success. So if you're blessed and you're lucky enough to be someone that has amazing God-given talent, that is awesome. You have a jump start and a head start on everybody else if you continue to put in the work. All right? And here's some encouragement for those of you that are not the most God-given athletes. All right? Hard work always beats talent when talent refuses to work hard.